Previously on Historical Geocaching, my uncle and I are visiting the USS Hornet aircraft carrier in Alameda, California. Most recently, our guide has told us all about the anti-aircraft guns that were on deck.
So, let's start over here at the elevators. Okay, we are on the forward elevator here. There are 3 elevators on board. This is L1. L2 is on the angle deck about midship. L3 is aft of the island, and it's right now it's at hangar deck level. But the idea, okay, let's go back to the 1940s. There was a side elevator on the port side, and then there was a center elevator aft, just like here. The ship went through a big renovation from 55 to 58, and that's when they put the angle deck on, they put the hurricane bow on, they modified the island. Where the aft elevator was that they moved, that area below is a hospital. So all this has changed from 1940. Anybody follow that? Whenever we move airplanes from hangar deck to flight deck or vice versa, we let guests ride it. Unfortunately, there's no rides today, but it's quite an e-ticket ride. S3 Viking, okay, it's not in the fleet anymore. That's quite an airplane. I don't know why they didn't use it that long. Surprising.
Does the S3 Viking have any guns in it?
No. It was it could carry torpedoes, it could carry depth charges, and it could carry sonar buoys, and it was used for everything, from anti-submarine to COD, COD, carry on board delivery. Good. Okay, we're going to go over here to the catapults. Okay, on the Hornet here, these are hydraulic catapults. Okay, modern catapults were steam. Okay, the most modern today are electromagnetic. Okay, but this is a hydraulic catapult. These airplanes, this airplane, the S3 and the F-14 and the F-8 down on the flight deck, down on the hangar deck, could not launch from this carrier. They're too heavy. This was for lighter jets like the A4, the FJ that we have on board. Some prop airplanes. And you don't see this today. These are harnesses, hooks right here. There's 2 hooks each underside. Shuttle shoe right there. Now, as they jockey airplanes in position, the idea is to get them in position with the shuttle shoe, and back here we have the holdback. Now, what does the holdback do? As they're getting ready to launch, the aircraft goes full power. Everything, all the shacks,
Spools up.
Spools up, full power, burners, everything. All the slack's taken up in the catapult here. The only thing holding it is that the tension bar back there on the holdback. Now, a good way to demonstrate that is to try snapping your fingers without touching your thumb. The idea is, what does your thumb do? It gives that kinetic energy, stored energy, and lets you pop it. That's what this holdback does. So everything's just holding at screaming at the bits until they fire the catapult. So what happens is, when they're getting ready to launch, they'll put the aircraft in position, they'll hook it up. The deck officer comes out, and he's got a placard he holds up to the pilot. It has the weight of the aircraft. If the pilot agrees with it, he gives him a thumbs up. If the pilot disagrees, he goes up and down in 500-pound increments. Okay, till the pilot gives him a thumbs up. He holds that, he gives that report to the to the catwalk over here where the controls for the catapults are. Same on both sides, port and starboard. And they call that down to the catapult room, which is 6 decks below us. Okay. Now the catapult is on a cable, inch and a quarter braided cable, and it goes a complete length. If you can imagine, it makes a big circular pile. So as this is fired, it goes one way, and after they get the shoe back, it comes back the other way. It's all controlled from the catapult room, and that's when we're down on 3rd deck. We'll go through that. Okay. So if the pilot agrees, he gives them the thumbs up. That's called down to the catapult room. Everything is set. He gives the signal to wind up. Everything goes on, full throttle, full burner, everything. Only thing that's holding him is that tension bar back there until he's... So the shooter, he looks down the deck, he makes sure it's got a clear deck, he makes sure the sea state's just right, he doesn't want to punch him into the ocean as the bow goes down. So at the right time, he's ready to fire. He watches the pilot meantime does a cross check, he's full power, he checks everything, he's ready to go, he'll salute the shooter and signals, fires, and they'll fire the catapult at that. Now one pilot was up here on one of these tours and he told me, he says, yeah, he says, one day I scratched my nose and they shot me off the deck.
This is the catapult room. This is what launches the planes up on the flight deck. When I was up there talking about the catapult launching the planes, this is where it actually comes from. So this is one of those holdback mechanisms that I talked about that's attached to the back of the plane. When they hook up the catapult shoe to the cable, this would hold it in the back. And then once the catapult was activated, this gets broken right here and the plane takes off. And these are calculated to the weight of the plane. So they would have a number of different sizes of these that would break away at a particular load once they determine what the weight of the plane was. And here's a pictorial description. This is the bridle that hooks to the catapult shoe, with the hole back here holding it in place. So what they've done with the newer planes now is, and I don't know how accurate this is the current design of the catapult shoe, which is right here, and this is the holdback. So when the shoe is attached, whereas before they had a bridle that would fall off, this is attached to the plane after it's launched. This goes up with the landing gear, and this stays with the plane also. So they're not having to hook one of these up and rehook the bridle up. So it's all self-contained on the plane at this point. So this, down below this deck, there are some huge compressors that fill up these tanks. Now, you know, when you're home operating your compressor in your garage, it takes 45 minutes for it to come up to pressure. These things come up like that because they're launching planes every 30 seconds. So these are repressurized in a minute. From here, the gas goes into this hydraulic tank over here, which goes into this hydraulic cylinder, which runs the ram back here, which is what the cable is attached to. This is the ram that runs the bridle up there on the flight deck. Now, these are just ropes that are put in to simulate the cables that used to be here. So this ram goes back and forth, and when it does that, you know, the plane launches, then it comes back and recovers, then it goes again. So when you're down here, it would be a rather noisy area to be in. Of course, all of these areas on board the ship would be noisy, but this cable here wraps around and then it goes up through those wheels on the other side, and it comes back down through here onto this, the head of this ram on this mechanism. So it's quite a complicated way of launching a plane, but it works.